Hello everyone. Today's video I'm going to be continuing this Monster Hunter comparison between Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Rise, and the monsters. So I want to talk about um, Monster Hunter World's large monsters today, but I want to round off what I was talking about previously. I do apologize for my previous video if it was pretty dull with the sound destitute. I do apologize because the thing is that I'm using a new phone and this one has two microphones. Oh my goodness. And I was pretty close recording that previous video. I was talking a bit loud. Unfortunately, this did not pick up. It did not pick up as much and it really kind of messed up the full video. So I do apologize for that. I want to say that I'll be speaking a bit closer to this one because I remember, the right one. I remember doing a live stream on the second channel and I remember blocking that bottom one by mistake and then I realized, oh crap, I blocked it. And then I went to replay the video, the live stream, and it turned out that this one was a bit muffled. So for some reason, the left one, the top one on the top is not recording um, what I uh, it's not recording as I expected because I expected both to record. Unless both is recording, either one is weak. Either there's a setting to change both of them. I would love that. You might hear some ruffling in the background. You might hear something like some moving around, some very loud sounds. That's me because I'm crouching, and yeah, the tripod is pretty low, so I have to crouch, and I apologize, but that's what I have to do now. That's literally what I have to do just so I can um, make this video. So I'll be speaking a bit more closer. I hope you don't mind me coming even closer. So as you can see, we have the games out and I rearranged it for today's video. So, okay. Um, so I ended the previous video because I was very hungry and I'm not hungry anymore. I just ate, so okay. Monster Hunter Rise, as I said, is a very different game, but the one important thing about Rise is that its monsters are very much close to the old school way of monsters. In other words, they have the mindset of sight and attack. Basically, in the old school games, when a monster spotted you, they immediately went after you. This was a large monster, and sometimes some small monsters, but that varies from different monster. And sometimes it depends on which monster you provoke or whatever. But the large monsters were always provoked once they saw you. It did not matter if um if they were calm, if they seemed like a calmer monster. No, they really wanted to kill you. And that's the thing about Monster Hunter Rise. They have that old school way. Because Monster Hunter Rise is supposed to be an old school Monster Hunter game, but then they kind of changed it. So overall, yeah, that's something to point out. I remember in World, things were a bit different because World, the monsters, some of them were very tame, or some of them will get angry only in a certain place. And some of them will only get angry if provoked. Honestly, it's kind of interesting, World kind of focused on trying to make it a hunting experience, a hunting simulator. So you have to make them act realistic, not necessarily make all of them angry all the time. They have to be part of nature, and that's where World's design really shines. The monsters do feel as if they fit with the nature, and that's something with Monster Hunter in general, but World really has more bland, somewhat fitting tastes. Like most of the monsters actually fit quite well. So I think there are around, let me just check very quickly. I counted it, but I forgot. 36 large monsters all together. This is post update, so I will be counting in the collaborations with Final Fantasy and The Witcher, even though I do not personally consider them to be um, actual monsters. I consider them just to be collaboration things, and that's it. Overall, 36 large monsters. Let's go through all of the returning monsters. Let's do things a bit different. So first things first is we have Baroth. Then we have Deviljho, Diablos, Black Diablos, Kyrian, Kushala de Ora, Levisioth, Lunastra, Rathalos, Azure Rathalos, Rathian, Pink Rathian, Teostra, what else? Uragan, and that's it. I guess that's basically it. Overall, out of that, that's just a handful of monsters I mentioned. That's just a handful of them. So overall, this game had a lot of new monsters. So here are the new monsters, including the collaborations: Ancient Leshen, Anjanath, Basilgeuse, Behemoth, Dodogama, Great Gyros, Great Jagras, Geratodus, Kula Yaku, Kulvtaroth, Legiana, Leshen, Lunastra. I mean, no, 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 take that back, take that back. I'm reading from the list. By the way, by the way, let me just cut it right over here and say, I am using the Monster Hunter fandom wiki. Now, fandom wikis are places where the fans can, collaborate together online and basically create this amazing source of information for something they love. So we have the Monster Hunter wiki, which has hundreds upon thousands of pages of useful information for monsters, for different video games, and other types of information related to Monster Hunter. I do recommend checking that page out because everything feels very, very, very well done. So you can check it out if you ever feel like you want to know more about the monsters, because that's one of the best places to get information from, compiled information from. Okay, let's restart. I'm sorry about that mistake because I'm reading from the list, so I kind of I feel like I will kind of add a monster, an old monster by mistake. So we have Ancient Leshen, Anjanath, Basilgeuse, Behemoth, Dodogama, Great Gyros, Great Jagras, Geratodus, Kulayaku, Kulftarath, Legiana, Leshen, Odogaron, Nagigante, Palumu, Poke, Radoban, Tobekadachi, Tsutsiyaku, Valazak, Xenojiva, Zoro Magdaros. That's a lot of large monsters that are brand new. And that's what I like about World looking back. There's more when it comes to new monsters, there's just more of those compared to just a lot of returning ones. And the new monsters really shine because not just with their HD assets, but they have some interesting moves that fit with the open world. Take Tobikadachi's, jumping from tree to tree and kind of kind of making you a bit anxious for when he's about to pounce on you. Take Radoban, which is a cousin to Uragan because they look very similar. They come from the same family. Um, Basically, in the freaking Rotten Vale, the upper areas, the first upper areas you will see, all of them feel like they were somewhat bespoke for Radoban. Um, like all these places feel so interesting. You also have places where certain monsters can thrive, like Poke, not Poke, Palumo in the Coral Highlands. Oh wow. Like that's the thing I liked about Monster Hunter World. The monsters may look a bit more bland, but they feel like more fitting to the environment. they feel like they fit somewhere in those different locales. Overall, the returning monsters, seeing some of them like Rathian, Rathalos, seeing some of them in HD is kind of fascinating. Seeing Diablos, pretty interesting. You know, Lunastra, Teostra, seeing them just makes me pretty excited. Overall, I feel like Monster Hunter World tried to be a bit big about this because this was a giant step forward compared to the previous games. Yes, the games did take massive leaps each entry, but World did something a bit more different. World wanted to capture a worldwide audience even more, so they tried their best, and that's where World came in. And you can tell that they were trying to be more epic and very cinematic at times because some of the monsters like Zoro Magnaros and Xeno'jiva, but when people talk about them now, people feel like a bit bland because those monsters are very basic at times. But overall, I can really appreciate those monsters. A monster like Zoro Magdaros is very fun because you can just run all over him. That's very interesting. Xeno'jiva was a very surprise, just got you out of nowhere, and the fight was very stressful at first and a couple of times. But overall, just like all the other monsters, once you get used to them, it's kind of easy. Monster Hunter World, even though they have less monsters, they had some really interesting new ones. And I'm kind of glad Monster Hunter World took this bold approach not to have so many fan favorites, you know? Um, because there are so many other fan favorites like Zenoga, Nagakuga, Tigrex, and they just did not have those, and they did pretty well. That's the thing about making new monsters, which is important. You know, uh, it's better to have like 90% fresh faces than 10% fresh faces. But overall, tell me, what do you think about that? I really liked the addition to some of the monsters able to follow you around. And what else? Sometimes the environments can affect them. Certain environmental traps can affect them. They can follow you to certain environments. What else? What else? They can do a lot of things. The best thing is obviously them. Some of them being a bit calm. Some of them won't attack you. Because I've played the old games and I'm not the best at them. And the thing about the monsters from there was anytime they saw you, they attacked you. So it was kind of good to see a fresh look. Overall, I would say that Monster Hunter Rise, even though they have new monsters, it really felt a bit more like a very compact monster. No, no, not compact. A very full but compact Monster Hunter game. Basically, like it was pretty small, but there was so much of variety. It felt like you were at a buffet, and with World felt like you are having a hunting experience. You're having this hunting simulator experience. Overall, World and Rise are pretty good in their own way. Monster Hunter Rise has very flashy monsters at times, and Monster Hunter World tries to just focus on just a very, very interesting take on monsters using the environments, trying to make sure that these monsters feel a part of the world and they fit in a bit more deeper than the monsters in Monster Hunter Rise, They don't stand out as much and they feel in place in their environments. Overall, Monster Hunter World changed how monsters are going to be in the future. Monster Hunter Rise basically changed how portable games could be in the future, with being very fast paced and continuing the trend of interesting movements and whatnot. Anyways, that's basically it for the video. I could have not ended the previous one if it was gonna be so short. I have to say that Both games had interesting monsters. Both games had interesting returning monsters. When it comes to gameplay, I will say Monster Hunter World definitely wins that category, and it feels very simple. But when it comes to having a bit more variety, Monster Hunter Rise really has a lot of that, both small and large monsters. There's just so much variety. Overall, tell me, what do you think? Do you like World having, a small army of monsters, or do you like Rise for having a plethora of them, and having so many choices, and having so many missions where you can just hunt them down? Obviously, I think the mission count is a bit different, but what I'm trying to say is that, like, there's just so much variety when it comes to hunting compared to this. But I feel like this has a bit more missions on them compared to this. I don't know. I've not done mission count. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Bye.